The United Nations is marking 16 days of activism against gender-based violence under the theme Orange the World Initiative, which began on November 25th and runs until December the 10th.
The campaign aims to raise awareness of the issue of violence against women and ensuring essential services for survivors of violence during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's why we have Mohammed Al-Anezi with this.
The United Nations 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence activities is taking place under the 2020 global theme, Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Prevent and Collect. As the world retreated inside homes due to the lockdown measures introduced to curb the COVID-19 pandemic, reports showed an alarming increase in the already existing pandemic of violence against women. The 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an annual international campaign that kicked off on 25th of November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and runs until December 10th, which coincides with Human Rights Day. It was started by activists at the inaugural Women's Global Leadership Institute in 1991 and continues to be coordinated each year by the Center for Women's Global Leadership. It is used as an organizing strategy by individuals and organizations around the world to call for the prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls. In support of this civil society initiative, under the leadership of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the campaign calls for global action to increase awareness, stimulate advocacy efforts, and share knowledge and innovation.
Mohammed Al-Anezi is still with us on the air. That's why we have a couple of questions for you. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me.
What is the purpose of launching the Orange World Initiative?
Yes, thank you very much. As you have mentioned already, it's a campaign that began in 1991 and focuses on the elimination of gender-based violence. You mentioned the theme as well, Orange the World, Fund, Respond, Prevent and Collect. And I think especially in the current pandemic crisis, we're seeing a troubling increase in the amount of gender violence at home. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General, has called for 6 critical areas for action which the United Nations system has adopted. Number 1 is make urgent and flexible funding available for women's rights organizations. 2, support health and social services to continue their duty of care to violence against women survivors. 3, ensure that services for violence against women and girl survivors are regarded as essential. 4, place a high priority on police and justice responses. Put preventive measures in place, that's number 5. And 6, finally, collect data to be used to improve services and programs. So that's where we are now. And it's a pleasure to be part of this very, very important campaign.
That's wonderful. Okay, and now another question before I let you go. The effort done by the United Nations in collaboration with the State of Kuwait government in this regard, what exactly we're talking about here?
Well, thank you very much for that question as well. It's of course, normally the UN, together with its government partners, would host a number of physical events, which of course, as you may understand, in the current pandemic crisis, are not possible. But this, of course, doesn't mean that the United Nations, with the government of Kuwait, has not been actively promoting action against gender-based violence. And I would like to join the UN resident coordinator, Dr. Tarek Al-Sheikh, who said that Kuwait has shown great progress in this regard through its commitment, for example, the Convention on the Elimination and Discrimination Against Women and the Universal Periodic Review of Human Rights. But more concretely, I'm very proud to say that Kuwait has passed a new law on protection of domestic violence passed by the National Assembly. I think this is a major step towards strengthening the combat and protection of women from domestic violence.
Sir, thank you so much. We appreciate your input. That was Karl Kulessa, UNFPA GCC representative in the GCC area, and he is talking to us from Oman. Thank you so much, sir.